Welcome back everyone, another workshop compilation video for you here. You guys love it, so I'll keep making them. Anyway, let's see what we've got first. First up, we've got headset bearings and this Orbea e-bike. So there's a bit of play in this headset here. The reason I do it like this, I'll just go through this first before we get into the job. Normally you put your front brakes on, put it on the floor and rock it around and you'll feel play in the headset. The problem with doing that is if you don't know if it's play in the headset, play in the forks, play in the brake rotor bolts, play in the brake, play in the pads, there's a million different things. By doing it like this, you eliminate all of those and you know it 100% it's playing the headset bearings. I can feel that, I don't know if you can even hear that, that's pretty bad on this one. I find it a much more reliable way of setting it than actually on the floor. By all means check it when it's on the floor, but to actually determine if it is actually the headset, get it in the air off the floor like this and rock your bar. Basically I'm just going like this and you'll feel it then. You go forwards and backwards as well, I can even feel it there as well. It's that bad on this one, it's very bad. Customers kindly supplied me with a brand new headset, so we're going to put the new bearings in there. See if any of these other bits and pieces, we certainly won't need that. A few other bits we can probably get in there as well. So let's get these out and change the bearings. Super easy on this, nothing's integrated, so it's a very easy job. Just take this top cap off first. 4mm normally, can be a 5, can be a Torx. If it doesn't come out, it's because these stem bolts are still too tight and they're clamping it on basically. Just be careful because at this point your fork can just technically fall straight out. So either get something underneath it or hold it. I'm just holding it down here at the moment. And once you've loosened those off, that will come out like so. This is where you need 6 pairs of hands. Take the spacers off. And this will literally just drop down now and then this will pull off. So it's given me a new one of these. You can see this is perished. There's a new one in there, I hope. There's the bearing, first bearing. Just drop the fork all the way through and put it to somewhere safe. My tripod is very useful for that. Right, take this lower bearing out. This should just pull straight out without too much difficulty. If it doesn't come out, you got a big job on your hands. Or if only half of it comes out. They are a very good fit, so you just got to sort of jiggle it out all the way around evenly. Don't just try and pull one side because you'll just wedge it in even tighter. There's a ton of grease in this one, but it's a bit tight. I'll give this one a helping hand. A very, very small hammer this is, and just literally the weight of the hammer. Good access to the bearing on this one. Yep, straight out. If you are hitting it, hit it here, 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 here. Just keep repeating it like that. Don't just keep going like this because you're going to twist it in there and damage aluminium frame. You wedge it in solid and it'll be a bad day. Top bearing feels a little bit on the gritty side there. So you put your fingers in there and sort of expand them like that and then just turn there. If you feel any grittiness whatsoever, just get them changed before they get much worse. You can basically feel each bearing in there indenting into wear sort of grooves. So that one does feel a bit rough and that one feels a lot rougher. So yeah, it's due headset bearings anyway. Give it a good clean. Got my shorts on today, still absolutely roasting here in the UK. 35 degrees or something ridiculous like that. Bear in mind in the UK we don't generally have air conditioning because we only get like 3 days a year like that, so it's not worth it. So we just suffer and we like to complain about it as well, as you probably all know. And then when it starts raining, we complain about that. We just love complaining about weather, it's a British thing. Alright, let's get this cleaned up. I'll clean the frame afterwards, don't worry. Just more concerned about getting this bit in here clean at the moment. Also just clean up all the old grease and grit off the crown race as well. I'm not changing this. And while it's out, inspect for any wear here. This is where the bearing sits. This is literally just the anodizing worn. There's nothing there at all. If you can feel a groove with your fingernail, you've got wear in there and that's an issue. And this is literally just normal wear and tear on there, just from where it sits on the bearing. Like I say, if you get your fingernail and you can feel something, you've got a different situation going on, especially on carbon. So check that. 2 new bearings. You presume they're the right ones. They come from Orbea for this frame, and obviously they are the right ones. Dry test fit, yeah, they're definitely correct. Really, really difficult to order headset bearings. So if you can do what this customer's done very, very kindly and get a complete kit ready for your bike mechanic will love you. Let me tell you that, because there's about, well, I don't know, there's so many, 20, 30, 40 different types of bearings for headsets. Different external diameters, internal diameters, thicknesses, and then there's 2 different angles here, 36 or 45, and another one here, 36, 45. So you can't just go on Amazon and say headset bearing, because there's a 1 in a million chance you're going to get the right one. Go on your manufacturer's website, if they list it, you can do a bit of digging with a part number potentially. But if you go to Orbea's website for this bike, fantastic, you just supplied the entire kit, so winner, winner. Thank you very much. Literally just covering this with grease. The only reason we're covering it with grease, people pick this up and say, why are you doing this? It's sealed bearing. It's got absolutely nothing to do with lubricating the bearings in here. The only reason you're doing this is to stop this outer race, this steel race, seizing in this aluminium frame. Don't forget, steel, aluminium don't like each other. Galvanic corrosion, bad day. So always grease your bearings to stop them seizing. Always. I can't think of any exception to that rule. If you get this stuck in a carbon frame, let me tell you, it's the #1 worst job in a workshop. Getting a seized outer race of a carbon frame is horrendous. Now we can put the rest of it back together. Alright, drop the fork back in, really, that's it. A little bit of fresh grease on the crown race, although it doesn't really do a great deal in the grand scheme of things in this one. And then hold your forks up while you put the rest of it back together. The workshop still does a great job for that. So we've got a replacement one of these, that's the damaged part. The rest of it is all identical. You can change it if you wish, we may as well. Another thing to bear in mind, this O-ring in here, get some grease on here because basically all it does is it just binds on here if you don't grease it. It makes it a lot easier to get on and off again in the future. Just a little bit of grease in there. Probably picks up enough during the job anyway, but just add a little bit in there. This bit goes on first. This is only a literally piece of plastic. It's pretty rubbish, I'll be honest. But it does the job. Like that. This one will go on next. Like that. Any spacers. Make sure there's no grease on the remainder of the steerer where you're going to be clamping it. And just drop the stem back on. Like that. And they give you a new top cap with this one, but to be honest, I'll just use the original Orbea one. It looks a bit jazzier, so we'll just put that in. So this looks too short at the moment, but obviously we haven't compressed the bearing. So when we put this in, I'll take it back out again, and you'll see how much that pulls that down. So just drop that in, and then we're literally just going to tension that bearing with this 4mm here. Hold the fork leg there, and then we just turn in this Allen key up one finger. You don't need to be cranking this down. I'm not even doing that, and that's basically, you're feeling some resistance there. So now you just basically take your stool out. I'm going to fall out now, the fork. That feels perfect there. Good. Let me just nip these up first though. And I'll show you the top of that fork now. We'll talk these in a minute, don't worry. Take this back out and you'll see how much that's pulled that up by. There you go, perfect. It's got to be above this top bolt basically, which it is. So just use a rule for that across the top of the fork. And we're nowhere near the bolt there, so we're definitely above it. Just copied that off somebody else's video. Thanks very much. A lot of people get so confused with this. If you just think of this as a tool, no different to this, that's all it's doing, is a tool to set the tension on your headset bearings. Once it's done that job, you don't need this. You could throw it away if you wanted to, if you're crazy enough. It's done its job. It doesn't hold the bike together, doesn't do anything else. All it is a tool to set tension on your bearings. Obviously we're going to put it back in, but don't get confused. I've just literally half an hour ago done another bike for a customer where he cranked it down so tight he'd ripped the centre of the star nut out. It's way too tight, it doesn't need anything like that. You saw how I did that literally just with one finger. Problem with that is you needed another spacer there because this cap was bottoming out on the top of the fork because he'd cut the fork just ever so slightly too long, which is better than too short, but I see it very, very often where this cap is just bottoming out on the top of the fork. Add another couple of millimetre spacer, fixed. With a new star nut as well on that one. So now that's holding that tension, we can just get this aligned. And just torque it up. There's one. And there's two. Right, I'm 100% confident that bearing will be perfect. We'll just drop it on the floor just to confirm, but that's the way to do it. Rock that backwards and forward. Absolutely zero play there. Happy days. And oh, about a degree out. I'll just sort that out off camera. But yeah, that's how you do it. Right, I'll clean up my greasy fingerprints. And then we are done on this one. Let's see what's next. So next up, we've got this beautiful Laverack Titanium bike. Absolutely stunning bike this is. Let me just show you a few details before we get to the repair that it needs. I bet there's not many people got one of these. Number 2 of 50 ever made. So it's painted on the front, I think, some sort of paint. And there's raw tie on the back. You can feel a step here where the finish is. But yeah, number 2 of 50. It even tells you it's birthday, so you can buy a cake every year if you want to. So yeah, super, super nice bike this is. So on full 11-speed Dura-Ace, slightly older generation now. Mechanical, obviously, no DIT on this one. Hydraulic brakes. We're on Hunt wheels here with tubeless Pirellis. So this is the problem on this bike. On the front wheel, it is tubeless. It's not holding any air whatsoever. So let's have a look at that. Oh wow, what a bike. So yeah, Laverack are actually 17 miles away from where I am. So very, very local company. Fancy a bit of a collab if you guys are watching. Give me a shout. I'll come down and film you, see what you want to do. If you want me to put a bike together and give you a shout out, quite happy to do that. Massively impressed with these. And titanium, obviously my favourite frame material ever. Right, let's see what's up with this bike. So the customer's not used the bike for a couple of years for various reasons. And obviously come to it and this tyre's flat. Pump it up, I can't even pump it up at the workshop, it's flat 2 minutes later, so clearly an issue. He has sort of water tested it and it's coming through the spoke hole, so looks like an issue with the rim tape itself. Let's get the wheel out and have a look. Such a nice bike, I do keep saying that, but it is really something very special. So I don't know if there's any sealant in this at all, but we're going to take the tyre off and have a look anyway. I suspect it's going to need retaping, but it literally doesn't hold any air whatsoever. Right, let me just break this bead off while you enjoy the view. Right, bear with, this is super tight. I'm just trying to break this bead off. It's extremely tight, but I don't know if you can see what I can see in there. This looks like gaffer tape. Duct tape, whatever you want to call it, which is not good. I mean, it does a great job normally, but if this whole wheel's duct taped up, then I'm in for a bad day. Oh, I finally break the bead. Wow, that was tight. Broke my glove as well. Right, now I've got that broken, it'll come off easily. Anyone got any experience with those part tool bead breaker pliers? I keep looking at them. You get the odd one like this where they're a swine to get off. I'll tell you what, since I quit my full-time job in January, December, whatever it was, my thumb's been feeling a lot better. But I think this tyre's probably just set it back another 6 months. Right, that's off. Wow. Yeah, that is pure duct tape, the whole thing. Wow, this is going to be bad. Right, let me get it off. Might be some rim tape underneath it, hopefully. There is rim tape on there, so it's not as bad as it looked. But it's been taped over at some points by the looks of it. They are hookless as well. And there's no sealant in there at all. So, there's one problem. And there's another problem. But yeah, you can see the original rim tape there. Like I say, it's got some gaffer tape over that. It's a bit random. So clearly we've got to get all this off and get it cleaned up. Get the valve out first. Jeez, tell you what, that was challenging. All you youngsters out there, wait till you get to my age when your thumb don't work. No fun. Let's play a game, guess my age. That's an O-ring there, that's split completely in half as well, so that's completely perished. Change that. Get these out, I normally use the bottom of a tyre lever here and just push and pull from one side. And just push it out quite easily then. Like that. I'm going to have a rest because my thumb is throbbing. Then I'm going to get this rim tape off, clean it all up, retape it, and then put the tyre back on with some sealant. There's no harm using this stuff, it does a really good job normally. But use it over the existing tape. Don't use it straight to the rim because it's just awful to try and get off there. It's so sticky. So if it's over existing rim tape, then you'll be fine. Yeah, look at the state of this. You can see there the tape's come in and it's actually gone. That's a spoke hole. It's completely gone through there. So I think that's what the problem is. Well, a combination of problems, but that's the main hole by the looks of it. That one ain't much better. Right, I'm going to end up doing the back wheel at the same time, obviously, but I'll do that off camera. That's the main rim tape coming off now. So get this off, clean it all up. Just buy any tubes, guys. So much easier. Discuss. 10 million comments later. That's most of it off. So I'll give it a good clean now with some isopropyl alcohol. Give me a couple of hours, days, weeks, and I'll come back to you. Well, that's an hour of my life I'm not getting back. But anyway, it's nice and clean, so we get it retaped. Choose a selection of plastic picks here, sticky label remover, ISO, cloths, and patience. Get there in the end. That's what it needs to look like. Spotlessly clean, good as new. The tape I'm going to use is Goldix. This is a 50-metre roll, AliExpress, available in different widths. I did a review of tubeless tapes. There's a video out there somewhere, and this came out really well performance-wise, and value is just wow, it's outstanding. So let's get this wrapped up nice and tight. So finish that off there. I read some comments on one of my tubeless videos before, and people were saying clearly that people do more wrapping than me. You should finish this join here where the sealant is going in this direction, so the sealant basically overlaps the join there rather than forcing itself underneath the join. So that's what I've done on this one. That's the direction of travel is this way, so sealant will go over it here. That's the theory. I think it's a strong theory. I don't know how much science there is behind it. That's what I've adopted as best practice, and I'll keep doing that. So like I say, sealant will just flow over here And for centrifugal force, if it was the other way around, it potentially could hook underneath there and get underneath the tape eventually over time. You'll get a finishing tape on here as well. To be honest, I don't think this one needs it. It's sealed super well. It's such a nice tape. Or you can just use a bit of Gorilla tape over here to seal it as well. You can barely even see the join. So nice. I will put a little bit just over here though. So you can use this for tubeless tape if you want, if you're crazy enough. It does a great job, but you'd be all day getting it off. If you had to get it off then, not just an hour. It's super sticky on the rim. Ghetto tubeless. I know people use rolls and rolls of this stuff, but it's not something I get involved in. Strictly only work on wheels that are specifically labelled as tubeless ready, tubeless compatible, etc. Rims and tyres, obviously. I won't do anything that's not for liability reasons, basically. Get a plastic tool just to work that into the edge. And then just keep going that all the way around the edge of the rim, carefully, just to make sure it's seated properly. So obviously we need to get the valve back in here, which is here. So I've got a pick here, I've marked off where it is in the middle so I can see the hole. I'm just going to heat this up and stab it through. And that's it, don't wiggle it around because you want the valve to be a good fit on this tape here. So just leave that small hole. That's the valve that came out, so we're just going to clean off any sealant around this seal here. If it's in particularly bad condition, you might want to replace it, but this one should be okay. Some people say put a drop of sealant around this rubber. I've never done it, but I guess that might help. Commit yourself to this and get it straight through. Don't messing around, wiggling it around, just get it straight in. Like that. Gotta find a replacement O-ring, because I say that one's completely dead. Little box of spare valves and bits and pieces. Again, these are from that AliExpress video. Use them. The Weldite one's pretty good, I'll be honest. I use these on pretty much anything else. Those purple ones there. What I'm looking for is an O-ring. There's loads of them in here. That one here. These are all Presta valve cores. So any sort of tubeless maintenance, I always replace the core. They're so cheap. Look how many I've got. Probably thousands of them. Just change the core anytime we do any tubeless work. Right, let's get that in. So a new O-ring on there. I'm going to take this valve out, don't worry. And then screw that on there. So the valve wasn't the problem on this, it was the tape obviously, so you don't need to go too crazy with this. That's more than tight enough. So I'll take this core out, get the tyre back on, get some sealant in there, and we should be about good to go. So look at the tyre, this was what we're relying on to do the sealant. Disgusting. You YouTube guys are loving this, aren't you? Alright, let's get this beaded back on now. Oh, let's completely destroy my thumb for the day. That's on. Get it all into the centre of the wheel, you know the score, don't you? And there must be 20 million Instagram posts telling you how to fit a tyre. So just do this, just do that. To be honest, like that one, they're not too bad normally. Right, I'm just going to take this core out, bead the tyre. If you do get a bag of those valve cores, you'll get one of these with it normally. It's a little key, just take that out. All good. Right, there's no core in there obviously, so it's going to let all the air out as soon as I take this off. Like that. Try and control it a bit. If you get a rapid deflation, sometimes it can pop that bead straight off. So just control it a bit. Sealant. Fantastic stuff this is. It never ever let me down yet. It's sealed every single wheel I've done. First time. Awesome stuff. Not easy to find, but good shake. And we're going to use a syringe to get that in there. I only ever use a syringe. I'm not one of them psychos that throws it in the bottom of the tyre while it's still open. Good luck with that. I think I'll put about 60, 70 in this. Screw that onto the valve. Not much thread on this one, but just about get it. It's really pretty neck. Right, that's not going to go on there. I'm going to hold it on and wing it. And that's in, mostly. A couple of drops, we can live with that. New valve core. So these are hookless rims. Maximum, it says on the tyre, is 73 psi. So you need to check the manufacturer's website for tyre and rim. So we'll go to about 60 on this, I think. 60. Get rid of the swirly around. I'm going to get it in the bike now and spin it around. Love these Shimano skewers, so good. Alright, get that in there and get some good spins. Oh look, disc brakes are rubbing. Alright, I'll do the back one off camera. I'm not going to put you through that again. But I'm 99.9% confident I'll come back to that in the morning and it'll be rock hard like this. I always leave tubeless work 24 hours overnight before I give it back to the customer, just to be on the safe side, but I'm very confident that will still be like that tomorrow. Right, what is next? Quick pause before we continue to say a massive thanks to Sport & Leisure for sponsoring today's video. There's nothing worse than being right in the middle of a job, only for everything to come to a grinding halt because the part you ordered Said it was in stock. It was not in stock. It was weeks away. I've been there, I've done that, I've had to explain it to customers. And that's exactly why I use Sport and Leisure. They're based right here in the UK. Their stock levels are 100% live. So it's on the shelf. It genuinely is on the shelf. Get your order in before 3 PM. It's dispatched the very same day. Plus next day delivery is only £2.50, which is a bargain. I've got 3 brake sets coming tomorrow, so I can crack on my stuff. Also just updated the channel discount scheme for you. Head over to sportandleisure.com/BCR or scan this QR code on the screen right now. It'll generate a 10% discount at checkout of your very first order. If you're buying parts anyway, it's an easy way to save a bit of cash. No brainer. So the link's in the description below. And thanks again to Sport and Leisure for continuing to support the channel. Right, let's see what we've got on this. Something a bit different. This next one's got a problem with the front derailleur. So it's a raise-on mount, so it's riveted on, and the rivets have come loose. So what we're going to do here, we'll drill these rivets out, put some epoxy back on the bracket, put some fresh rivets in, hold it in place. The frame is well out of warranty. Before you all shout warranty, 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 I agree with you, but it's out of warranty, so the customer's asked me to do what should be a fairly simple repair. I'm just going to strip everything off so I can get good access to it first. Bottle cage, wheel, cranks, front mech obviously, and then we'll see what we've got left. Let's get one of them. I've got to give the rest of the bike a once over while it's here, but this is his main issue. Nice bike actually. Potentially what the problem is going to be is that this has been like this for a while now, so the hole where the rivet goes may have been sort of elongated, which may be a problem. I'm just going to take these off as well, just to make myself as much room as possible around where we're working for the 2 minutes it takes to get them off. Ceramic speed bottom bracket as well. Cool. Right, I'm going to take the front mech off, take the chain off as well, may as well. And finally get this off. Should just pull out, like so. Just 1 5mm here. Okay, just literally 3 or 4 minutes to get to that stage. There's actually 4 rivets on this. I'm going to drill these 4 rivets out. So because we're drilling it out, I'm going to turn the bike upside down because I don't really want any rubbish to go into this extremely expensive bottom bracket. So I'd rather take the seat post out with the battery, hold the frame here very gently and turn it upside down. So I'm going to do that first. Right, I'll clamp very, very gently there, just enough to hold it. Don't worry, I'm not putting any force onto the frame. Never do that unless you have to. Kind of this repair, I don't really have many options, unfortunately. So seat post is going to come out now. Bolt is down here. That'd be funny if this was seized, wouldn't it? I'm going to put a mark down here. I was going to order one of those brackets that you can put in your work stand to hold it across the top tube, but I'm not sure if it works with the bike upside down. So if anyone's got one, let me know. That'd be good because I still want to order one of those. With the seat post out, there should be, oh, no battery in here. Where's the battery then? There you go. Yeah, the battery's in there. It's fell out of the seat post. As they do. Joy. Then hook it out with a spoke. It's pretty far down there. There she is. Well, that should be in the seat post. Plug this, get it out of the way as well. I just want to see what kind of rivets they've used because you can use either pop rivets or what they call peel rivets for carbon. So I'm just trying to see what they've used in this one. I'm going to get my endoscope out and see if I can get some sort of image on that. Very basic endoscope. I really want to treat myself to something a bit nicer than this. So you guys can help. Super thanks. All that stuff. Buy me an endoscope. Don't worry, I'll buy it myself. Gotta remember how to use this app now. Yes, 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 yes. No, done. Plug. Right, we're in. It's working. It's not a steerable one. That's the issue I'm having. So I can see what I'm doing down there. I'm just, like I say, I'm just trying to get to these rivets to see what kind of rivets I've used. There's your bottom bracket, so I've gone too far. There's this Shimano cable. So those 2 black bits at the top, I don't know if you can see that. And they're rivets there, so they are basically just pop rivets that they've used, and they're not looking particularly healthy anymore. So I'm going to have to drill those out upside down so all the rubbish comes out the seat tube. See what size hole we've got, and see if I've got any rivets. I might need to get some new ones tomorrow. Oh, massive apologies guys, I forgot to press record. But all I've done is basically just drill the head of those rivets off, and it just came straight out, no problem at all. There's the whole of the frame. I can't believe I've just done that. There was some epoxy on there, you can see there, but it's not done a very good job. Broke free over the years. So it is on raw carbon, so I'll be putting it back on with carbon fibre structural adhesive. So yeah, I can't believe that didn't record. Very sorry. It was literally just a case of just blipping the top of the rivet off there. Oh, sugar! And it took literally 2 seconds on each one, so it was easy. Just going to measure these up and see what size rivets I need. Carbon's about 1.5mm thick, thickness of the bracket, and then the top of the head was about 6mm, so do a bit of maths and make sure I've got the right one. If not, I'll get one ordered. Step 1 complete though. And that's the remains of the rivets that have popped through from the inside of the frame, or like the seat tube, there's no debris in there. Right, so the frame's now hanging back by its seat post. All we're going to do now is stick it on, basically. I'm going to use a combination of epoxy and rivets. I'm just going to key up this piece of carbon, just so the epoxy will stick properly. Literally just scuffing the surface. And on the back of the bracket, take off the remains of the old epoxy, and that's been properly keyed with a standing knife blade now, basically. What you're making is a key, so the epoxy will go underneath those grooves, underneath these, and a key itself. If you just put slick on slick, it's just going to fall off. I mean, it will work, but not very well. So always key them if you can like that. So we'll put the epoxy in there and rivet it on. Generally speaking, the epoxy is going to do the job on its own, because the stuff I'm using is structural adhesive, and the rivets will basically allow it to dry and give it a bit of support as well, but the epoxy will be doing most of the work. This is VM800 structural adhesive. This is from Easy Composites, designed specifically for carbon fibre. I used to have a bit of a carbon fibre hobby, almost business sort of thing, so I do have a lot of kit and I have a rough idea what I'm doing. So the epoxy on there, I'm just going to get this in place with these rivets, just holding it in location basically at the moment, because this stuff dries very quickly. Make sure I get it the right way around. I'm pretty sure they'd have drilled it to be impossible, but that's the correct way for the hanger. Just get these set in here. I do have a powered rivet gun, but probably a bit aggressive for this. But it's a brilliant bit of kit. Take your time. It will make a cracking noise, don't worry, it's the rivet, not the frame. Not the frame. These are going to be challenging. They're going to be very challenging. Interesting. Anyway, I'll get these two buttoned up. There's two. Problem is, there's just no access to get your rivet gun because of this piece here. I'll take these out in case the epoxy glues it, but that ain't going anywhere as it is. So I'll let the epoxy dry. These two rivets have definitely got this anyway. I'm just going to work out a way of getting the rivet gun in there, which is could be interesting. Problem is, the shoulder of the tool is fouling on this bracket, so you can't get this to the bottom out. Almost get the top one, but the bottom one is miles out. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, is attack this tool with a grinder. Give me some more clearance. It's only a very cheap one, so it's fine. So I don't know what it is about this bike, but that's the second time it's not recorded when I've told it to. Anyway, all I did basically was take the tool to a grinder, take a massive corner off there, so I've got clearance against this bracket now. And then they just went in exactly the same as the other two, no problem at all. So yeah, it's only a very cheap tool, but sometimes it's got to be done. I've had to do the same with the riv nut gun before, just grind one side off just to get clearance. Anyone knows if there's any sort of extension piece you can get for pot rivet gun, then let me know, because clearly I've ruined this one anyway, so I don't mind buying a new one, but that's on now. So that's pretty much as good as, if not better than new. It's got epoxy that's actually going to do the job now. I'll just let it all dry up and then get the bike back together off camera. Won't bore you with that, and then let the customer know it's ready for collection. Okay, you could hold the bike by that. Solid. Right, some different stuff this week. Hope you enjoyed those. I don't do a lot of frame repairs, little bits and pieces like this, braze-ons, cable stops. They're fairly straightforward, but anything with big cracks, no, I'm not doing that. That goes to the specialists. So don't be afraid. Little jobs like that, they're pretty straightforward. You've got no warranty anyway. What have you got to lose? It's very easy, really. Just a bit of epoxy and a couple of rivets. Job done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and obviously I will see you again next week with more of the same, but different. Enjoy the rest of your day.